What is going on YouTube? UFC 323, the last pay-per-view of the pay-per-view era, is here this Saturday, and today I'm going to be giving you all my predictions and breakdowns for each fight on the card. Let's just start right away with the early prelim opener. We got Muhammad Naimov versus Mayron Santos. Now, who's the favorite here? I can't see who the favorite is. I'm picking Muhammad Naimov to beat Mayron Santos by 29-28 decision. Mayron Santos, he is big. He's a big guy. He's powerful. Ignore this pimple right here. It's pissing me off. Anyway, Mayron Santos is a powerful guy. He picks his shots well. The problem I have with him is he seems to be very slow. He's not as active as I would want him to be. Maybe that's a testament to his cardio, but he's just not as active as he should be. And against somebody like Naimov, who's a talented mixed martial artist in his own right, he can strike. He will grapple you once he's in danger. Muhammad Naimov has no sense of urgency to win any fight by finish. He has no sense of urgency to dominate you. He will win the fight by any means necessary. And if that means he's going to clinch you up and take you down once you get too close to him or once you pose a threat, he's going to do that. And that's what Muhammad Naimov has shown me that he's willing to do. Mayron Santos, he's been impressive. His Sadiq Youssef performance was not really impressive to me, though. I'm used to seeing Muhammad Naimov just completely ruin my day on my picks or against fighters that I love. And he's also a cheater. He will cheat in his fights to win. He will take any advantage that he can to win. I think he will lay on Mayron Santos, who will be just physically more imposing than him, will be landing the better shots on the feet. But I think the takedowns will be too much here. And I think the control time will end up winning this for Muhammad Naimov, 29-28. Mayron drops the first round after getting taken down. He picks up the second round, close round, but then Muhammad Naimov just lays on them the last round. I've seen it too many times in Naimov fights. I'm gonna pull up my local casino as I tend to do. Don't gamble, guys. I don't want y'all to gamble. I just want to see the odds for some of these fights because I do not know, since the UFC website does not have them up. Wow, Naimov's an underdog. That's a big underdog right here. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it at all, but it won't be an entertaining fight. I'm lying. Mansour Abdul-Malik versus Antonio Tricoli. This is a layup for Mansour Abdul-Malik. I'm tired of Abdul-Malik and Ateba Gutierrez just getting fucking layups of opponents. I mean, Antonio Tricoli is just here to get knocked out. If you want to know who I think is going to win the fight, it's Mansour Abdul-Malik. He's probably like he's probably like a minus 800 favorite. Tricoli doesn't do anything well. He's literally just here to get sacrificed to the lamb. I don't think I really have to break this fight down. What are the fucking odds here? Yeah, minus 1250. I don't have to break this fight down. It's not like a Suzukaya versus Eric Nolan type fight. It's genuinely like we're just here so you can get an early KO and start us off with some energy. That's all this is here for. I'm really looking forward to Mansour Abdul-Malik facing higher up in competition so he can get fraud checked like I think he will. Same with Ateba Gutierrez, but I think Ateba Gutierrez is better than him, and I think he'll do better in the division. But this is a fucking layup. Tricoli will probably get cut after this. Moving on. Ibo Aslan versus Iwo Baranuski. I'm going with Iwo. I'm done pronouncing his last name. I'm going with Iwo. I saw his Contender Series knockout, like his 22nd knockout, and I went back and watched, because I had no idea who this guy was, but I watched his regional scene fight against some guy. The guy he fighting had like New York Knicks color shorts on. I don't know any of their names. I don't know his name, sorry. But Iwo, he seems to deal with pressure well, and he seems to pressure extremely well. His top game, he's looking to land shots. He's looking for a submission when he's on top. Not really a submission, but he's looking to land shots while he's on top. He's a big, powerful guy. He's got a lot of power in that right hand. And Ibo Aslan, look, Iwan Kutalaba took his soul, and then he went and had a spar match of the century with Billy Elikana, where they did nothing but they didn't throw any strike with conviction. They didn't throw any strike like they wanted to win the fight. They just tapped at each other with teep kicks to the body, with uh, outside low kicks from southpaw to orthodox. They didn't do much at all. Ibo Aslan, he never really looked good to me. He was beating up on cans, and then he fought Kutalaba, who kind of bitched him in that last finishing sequence. So I'm taking Iwo by KO. I think Ibo Aslan will put him on his back foot early, but then the tides will change because Ibo has nothing that you can respect at this point. Maybe it'll be a thing where Iwo is like, he's feeling it in his UFC debut. He's the only debut fighter on the card, but he seems to have a little more confidence than that. I think he will catch Aslan coming in the first round, getting early KO. He seems to be a decent fighter, and I think he's better than Ibo Aslan, who did nothing but spar in his last fight. A pretty despicable performance from him. So I'm taking Iwo by first round KO with like an overhand, and then stumbled Aslan, and then he just finishes him up against the cage or something. Moving on though. This is low as fuck. This is low as a bitch. Damn. Edson Barbosa versus Jalen Turner. Jalen Turner is returning. I already know the odds on this one. Jalen Turner is a pretty big favorite right now, and I don't agree with it at all. I'm going to take Edson Barbosa. I know Edson has looked as like a shell of himself, I guess you can say, in his last couple performances. I think he's good enough to do it against Jalen Turner, though. I don't. I think this will be Edson Barbosa's last fight. I question Jalen Turner's heart and where he's at because he took a few losses and quit. He's a 6'3" lightweight. So I question his heart. But Edson Barbosa, I think it's the end of his career, man. I'm taking Jalen Turner. I think Jalen will submit him. He's got his last couple wins by submission, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's got his last couple wins by submission. He will stay at range, and 6'3" to 5'11". Edson Barbosa is having trouble seeing now and shit. Not really, but he's just like old, man. He's not as dynamic as he used to be anymore. He reminds me of how Aldo was at the end of his career. I think Jalen will stay on the outside with super long, rangy strikes, long kicks, making Barbosa respected by guarding all the time. I think he'll be active with his feet. And then I think he'll get taken down and probably end up in a Darce or a guillotine. I really think this is the end of Edson Barbosa's career. And plus, he's been around for forever. He's got a lot of damage. He's got beaten up by a lot of people. I do want him to win because Jalen Turner seems a little soft to me, and he's 6'3" at lightweight. But I do think Jalen Turner will win this fight, unfortunately, by second round submission. Marvin Vettori is on the early prelims. Damn. Marvin Vettori versus Bruno Ferreira. I think the chin's going to get cracked. I'm sorry. I think the chin is going to get cracked. Bro, Marvin Vettori's fought so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. His chin's never been cracked. Now, listen. I want y'all to realize who we're talking about, okay? Look at the fighters that he's fought. Who here was going to crack Marvin Vettori's chin? He's eating a shit ton of shots, don't get me wrong. Who out of his last fights this decade was going to crack his chin? No. He could have. Fuck no and fuck no. Marvin Vettori is this. He used to be... I used to be able to say he was a grappler. I used to be able to say he had decent grappling. Decent doesn't mean good. It just means decent, like subpar grappling. Marvin Vettori in his last couple fights has turned into nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing but a 1-2 merchant. He has no dynamic. He has no strikes. He cannot be dynamic on the feet. He's 1-2, and he's susceptible to be hit. He's been susceptible to be hit for his entire UFC career. He's been susceptible to be hit, especially as of late. And Bruno Ferreira, man, he's got fucking dynamite in his chin. Or in his hand, sorry. He's got dynamite in his hands. In either hand, he will completely overswing to land that big shot on you. And I think with Marvin Vettori's defense, which is just basically having a chin and a 1-2, I think Ferreira's is gonna land. I think Ferreira is gonna land that overhand right. I can see it happening, and Marvin's chin just fucking explodes. But even if he doesn't, I think if Marvin takes him down, Ferreira's got a good guard. He's good off his back. Marvin has zero submission ability. He hasn't had a submission in 5 years. And against anybody of competition, he has no submission ability. He doesn't have good top control. He really does not have good anything. He's a 1-2 merchant to the extreme. There's not a better 1-2 or a worse 1-2 merchant in the UFC. He's a 1-2 chin merchant. That's it. He can walk forward and eat a bunch of shots from people who aren't going to put his lights out. Israel Adesanya's not putting your lights out with his hands. Robert Whitaker, I love Bobby. He's not doing that. Brendan Allen, Roman Dolidze, none of these guys, Jack Hermanson, none of these guys are putting your lights out or making you pay for stupidly walking in with the same 1-2 and shitty defense. And I think Marvin knows that Bruno Ferreira can explode his chin. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen at some point during the fight. Don't ask me when. Maybe second round, just overhand right, floors Marvin, or just like wobbles him crazy and then he gets finished. But look at this smug look on his face. That's the look of a fighter that can't do anything but throw a 1-2. And again, like I said, even if I didn't think Bruno was going to explode his chin, he's a way better fighter than him. Bruno does have low IQ, but so does Marvin Vettori. So I don't think Marvin will be able to floor him with anything or keep him honest or punish him for having low IQ. So Bruno Ferreira by KO. This is a fucking great fight. I don't know what the UFC is doing with these placements. I don't know what they're doing. This is fine. This is fine where it is. This, I would assume, should be up a little more. This should probably be the feature fight. This should be way lower than it is anyway. Come on. Nazim Sadikov versus Fresiam. Fresiam, he hasn't fought since Matt Frivola, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to go Nazim Sadikov to win this fight. I think we're going to see a lot of finishes early, like in the prelims and the early prelims. I think Nazim Sadikov is going to win this fight by KO. Fresiam is good. He's got finishing potential, but he's finished people that are finishable, that should be finished, especially by someone who's 6'1" at lightweight. He is long, he's rangy. He does have a good clinch. He's got good clinch work, but he's more like we're either clinching or I'm all the way out. And he's not as dynamic when he's all the way out to me to fuck with somebody like Nazim Sadikov, who when I think they're in that mid to short range, when they're boxing with each other, I think he'll tee off on him when he has him up against the cage. I think he's skilled enough to get away from the clinch, even though I do think Fresiam is better in the clinch than Nazim Sadikov. Sadikov, he can eat a little bit of damage too. We've seen that in his last fight. He can eat some damage, come back and KO you. I don't think he'll need to come back and KO Fresiam. I think he will tee off on him in the second round and knock Fresiam out. That's just my gut feeling. That's my gut feeling. I'm not going to give this one too much of my energy. Macy Barber, if her fake tits are, if everything's okay with her, she's not like dying or anything, she's not having any type of medical emergency, if her fake tits haven't exploded, she'll win the fight. She'll put the pressure on Karine Silva, who looks to do nothing but grapple you and try to be on top of you. Macy Barber is very skilled, and I think she would have beaten Erin Blanchfield, and I do think she's going to beat Karine Silva. That's all the energy you're getting out of me for that one. Woo! Terrence McKinney versus Chris Duncan. Now, this should be the feature fight of the fucking prelims. This is the stupidest shit in the world, the Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres, but this is going to be a fire fight. I do have Chris Duncan just comedically knocking Terrence McKinney out. I'm sure a lot of people do. Terrence McKinney, for the first 3.5 minutes of the fight, is a dangerous fighter. He's a skilled wrestler. He's got decent submissions. He's dynamic in the first 3 minutes of the fight. But when all fails, what is Terrence McKinney? He's there for us to get knocked out and for us to laugh at him comedically. I think Chris Duncan is going to weather the storm. I don't think he'll be submitted early like Vyacheslav Borshev got just taken down and immediately subbed. I think if he does get taken down, he's safe on the ground. Terrence McKinney isn't that good of a submission specialist to get him out of there that early. And Chris Duncan's tough as fuck, man. He's tough as fuck. We've seen that in every single fight. Chris Duncan is tough. He gets hurt. He gets bloodied up. Everything. He's fucking tough. I don't think Terrence McKinney has the power to put Chris Duncan away. I think he will wrestle and they'll have good scrambles early. I think McKinney will get the best of those scrambles early with the grappling. He'd be stupid not to because I think Duncan is going to eat him up. But then after that, once they get back to the feet, I think it's barbecue chicken from there. Chris Duncan can box up Terrence McKinney, just put endless amount of pressure on him, throw crazy volume at him, and eventually get him out of there in a funny-ass way so we can all laugh at him because he's been acting a little fucking stupid on Twitter, and I want to see him lose. I'm hate watching him. And look, after y'all see my last video, I'm done being all super Mr. Nice Guy with these fucking fighters. I want to see him slept. I want to see Terrence McKinney slept on the ground, looking up at the screen like, I want to see it. So Chris Duncan by the funniest KO in the fucking world in the third round. Actually, yeah, in the third round. Ugh. Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. Man, last pay-per-view of the pay-per-view era. And we have Grant Dawson to open up the fucking to close out the prelims. Grant Dawson versus Manuel Torres. I'm sorry. I think Grant Dawson is going to wet blanket Manuel Torres. I do. Manuel Torres is really good on the feet. He's really good on the feet, and he's got power in his hands. But, man, the thing about him is he overswings way too much for me. He's always looking for that shot or like that two to come down the pipe, and he kind of overswings and oversteps his boundaries. That's how he got caught against Ignacio Bahamondes. He overswings, and against somebody like Ignacio, you step back, boom, right on the chin. With somebody like Grant Dawson, if Grant Dawson slips that, he's taking you down, and you're just going to be, he's going to be in your full guard. Not even half guard. He's going to be in your fucking full guard just laying on you, and we're not going to do anything but hear boos from Vegas. I would assume that's how the fight goes. Grant Dawson's shown a decent chin, too. He can get a submission, but I truthfully think, and there's no, like, crazy size discrepancy. It's not like Manuel Torres versus Drew Dober, where Drew Dober is, like, just short and stocky against the long, rangy Manuel Torres. Grant Dawson, they're the same height. Grant Dawson is a kind of a stouter kind of guy. He's going to take Manuel Torres down, even if he has to force it himself, Fuck, man. Fuck, I know this fight is going to be boring. I know it is. And in my mind, I think, well, Manuel can keep his hips back and make sure his hips are always on the floor when he's trying to get taken down. He can step back and 1-2. That's not how the sport goes. You got to look at how the sport actually plays out. And it's not how you want it, bro. You want Manuel Torres to knock Grant Dawson out to get him out the top 15 because Grant Dawson's boring as fuck and he doesn't do anything and he doesn't fight frequently and this and that and the third. But he's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's not going to finish him. He's not going to submit him, I should say. Manuel Torres has got a decent guard. But I think this is going to be a half guard, full guard camp. I advance to side control, but I'm not doing anything type of fight. I hope not. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this pick is wrong, but that's how I feel. Man, the last pay-per-view opener ever. Jan Blachowicz making his return against Bogdan Guskov. Now, man, I love Jan Blachowicz. I do. I like Jan Blachowicz a lot. Legendary Polish power. I think Jan Blachowicz is going to be a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's going to wet blanket Manuel Torres to probably a 30-27 decision. He's he's gotten robbed in his not he got robbed in his last fight, not in his last couple performances. He's just got a weird career lately with the Ankalaev fight, and then people think he got robbed against Pereira when he didn't. And then he took all that time off, almost 2 years, to come back against Carlos Ulberg, and then he got robbed against Ulberg. I do think he got robbed against Ulberg, and I think this will be his last fight because I think Bogdan Guskov will knock him out. We can talk about Jan Blachowicz. He's got great low kicks. He still has great low kicks. He's not gonna you're not really threatened by any kicks that he brings above your hip. So you just really got to watch out for the low kicks. But he's got very simple striking, especially as of late, just with his hooks and his straights. He looks like he's always overextending, and when he does reach you, I don't think he's doing a lot of damage anymore. I think it's just like kind of point fighty. And Bogdan Guskov, he's laying motherfuckers out. He's touching people and he's laying them out. Just from his last couple performances I've seen, he's just extremely fucking patient, and that patience has gotten him KOs when people overextend or people think they're safe at a certain distance. Blachowicz is not Nikita Krylov. Like, he's not gonna come out doing crazy super. He's gonna be very in his own shell, very, very technical, very sound. I think Bogdan Guskov will catch him over the top with something, though, probably in the first round. Just like he's been doing, I think he'll continue the streak. I think he does. And I think Jan Blachowicz at 42 years old, it's bound to happen at some point. He doesn't have legendary Polish power anymore. I'm not like, it's a meme to say it, and it's a meme to say that about all of Poland's fighters, but he just doesn't have the power anymore to really make me want to pick him to win a fight. So I'm picking Bogdan Guskov by early TKO. Not early, but like first rounds TKO. And I feel bad about it because I do think Jan Blachowicz is going to retire. He's 42, 43 soon. Wish he would have left the sport because the sport been left him. He got fucked over in his last fight, and he's gonna get fucked up in this fight. And he's a favorite, so I think he's gonna get fucked up though. I think he's gonna get fucked up. Henry Cejudo, man, what the fuck? What? Oh my goodness. I don't even want to talk about this fight, man. Peyton Talbot versus Henry Cejudo. Yo, this is Henry Cejudo's last fight. I think we know that. I was watching Embedded earlier, and Henry Cejudo was talking about this is his last dance. His coach said this would be his last. Henry Cejudo's coach said this will be his last fight that he's ever coaching in MMA. I think this is the last dance. I think Henry's gonna win, but that's not how the sport works. I think Henry Cejudo is a better fighter than Peyton Talbot. I do. He's going to beat Peyton Talbot, man. Peyton Talbot hasn't shown me shit. He hasn't shown me shit. He beat up on Cans. Honey Barcelos ragdolled him, took him down, and did whatever he wanted. He beat him up on the feet. And then his last fight against Felipe Lima showed just fucking stupidity. He couldn't throw any strike regular. He was trying to be dynamic, throw a bunch of crazy spinning attacks and wheel kicks and throw flying submissions and all of that. Felipe Lima showed ridiculously stupid fight IQ. Henry Cejudo is smart. He knows that this is his last try in the UFC. I think he will win this fight. Peyton Talbot, because he's not knocking Henry Cejudo out. He's not. He's not touching Henry Cejudo's chin. He's not knocking him out. Henry, now I get on Henry because he's very simple when he comes into exchanges, especially boxing exchanges. He comes in exchanges the exact same way every time. That's how he lost to Song Yadong. But I don't think Peyton Talbot can read that. I don't respect Peyton Talbot's game. I just don't respect it. I think he's I'm going to pick my shot and try to get like a walk-off pretty cute KO. And I think Henry's going to be in his face. I think Henry's going to be grappling him. They'll be in sequence as well, where Henry's got the hips and he's got his arms locked, and Peyton and Talbot's trying to get a whizzer, and they're against the cage. Henry's like rabbit punching him with one knee down, and I can see that happening in this fight and Henry winning a 29-28 decision, man. He is pretty simple when he comes into boxing exchanges. Yes, he is. Does Peyton Talbot get into boxing exchanges? No, he does not. He tries to sit back and be pretty with the way he throws. Henry's always good with the in and out with his head movement and his footwork. He's always good with that. I guess I could see Talbot kicking low, but Henry kicks low well as well. Like, Henry's funny to make fun of, and he's memeable, and he's annoying as fuck, but he is a decent fighter. He had a close fight with Merab. Not a close fight, but he had a good fight with Merab, 29-28. He had a good fight with Aljo. He was having a decent outing against Song Yadong. He was losing every second of it, basically, but he wasn't getting outclassed. I think he'll beat Peyton Talbot by wrestling. I do think so. I think so. I think if Henry's smart, he'll know that if Raoni Barcelos can do this to Peyton Talbot at the start of the fucking year, or was at the end of last year, whatever it was, then I can do it as well. Henry Cejudo, 29-28. Wow, damn. To our featured fight of the prelims, Brandon Moreno, Tatsuro Taira. Man, this is a banger. This is a banger, and I know bangers. Brandon Moreno versus Tatsuro Taira. I have Brandon Moreno winning this fight. I think Moreno has great takedown defense when he's on his game. I think he's clearly the better striker here. We all know what Tatsuro Taira's plan is to go in, try to flirt around with you on the feet. He wants to take you down. He wants that backpack. He wants to try to fight for a rear naked choke. He wants to create scrambles on the ground so he can get you and work towards the body triangle. We know how Tatsuro Taira works. We saw Brandon Royval counter that and beat him up on the feet. I think Brandon Moreno will do the same thing with him being the shorter fighter. I think, wow, they're both 5. No, they're not both 5'7". No, they're not. No, they're not. Brandon Moreno always seems so much shorter than he is. There's no fucking way. Because how tall is Figgy? No, not versus Jackson. How tall is Figgy? Yeah, this is fucking ridiculous. This is now they're just fucking lying. They are just lying. No, I need a face off. There's no way on this planet Earth. Look at them. $1 billion company, by the way. Brandon Moreno listed at 5'7", and Figgy's 5'5". Whatever. We know Brandon Moreno's not 5'7". We know Tatsuro Taira is going to come in longer than him. Brandon Moreno is going to look shorter and a little more filled out than Tatsuro Taira. And I think Tatsuro Taira works well. He works his best against longer opponents when he gets that body triangle. It's harder to keep a shorter guy down, a shorter, skilled, a little more stout guy than you are. It's harder to keep those guys down. That's why Volk does such a good job in the grappling department. And I don't think Tatsuro Taira will be able to body triangle Brandon Moreno. And I think Brandon Moreno is leaps and bounds better than him on the feet. He's great from both stances. He's great. He's a 3-level threat. He will mix up the strikes. He will mix up the stance that he throws in. He will even go offensive takedowns against you. I don't think he will against Tatsuro Taira. I think he'll try to stay on the feet and beat him up, which I think he will. I honestly think Brandon Moreno might 30-27 him. I think it'll be a 30-27 where Brandon Moreno starts out doing more damage than Tatsuro Taira on the feet, and Tatsuro Taira ends up taking him down with like a minute 50 left, and then gets like a body triangle on the back, and he's like threatening a couple chokes, so the ref throws him around. I don't respect Tatsuro Taylor's on the feet, especially against somebody like Brandon Moreno. I just can't. I don't even want to talk about his on the feet. It's not completely trash, but when it comes to somebody like Moreno, I just don't respect it. I think Moreno is an entire leap above him on the feet. I think Moreno will win this fight, man. I know the UFC wants that Asian audience. I know they want it, but I don't think they're gonna get it with Tatsuro Taylor, especially not against Brandon Moreno. I do not think so. There's levels. But moving on to the co-main event. Fuck. Alejandro Pantoja defending against Joshua Van. I love Josh Van. He's one of my favorite fighters. He is one of my favorite fighters. He is not beating Alejandro Pantoja. I don't think. I mean, what are the odds here? This isn't a hot take. Wow, these odds are crazy. Minus 238. I would think Alejandro Pantoja would be like a minus 400 favorite, honestly. Alejandro Pantoja is going to walk Joshua Van down, take him down immediately, and submit him. He's going to submit him. He's going to walk Joshua Van down. Joshua Van is slick on the feet. He does have good counters. He can hit you when you're walking in forward. But he's too small, man. He's too small. Again, these heights aren't accurate. They aren't the same height. There'll be like a, probably a 2 forehead difference between Pantoja and Van. Pantoja will be noticeably taller and bigger than Joshua Van. Joshua Van is probably a good 5'3". Pantoja's probably 5'5", 5'6", 5'4" to 5'6" type. But yeah, there's nothing that Joshua Van has ever shown me that he can deal with somebody like Pantoja. He was able to stuff Bruno Silva's takedowns. I know he's been able to stuff people's takedowns or being able to get up. He's never shown takedown defense as good, or he's never shown that his takedown defense was as good as to keep it on the feet with somebody like Pantoja. I think in the first round, we're going to start out, Pantoja's going to be walking forward, leaping into shots, and I think he's going to shoot a takedown with after 45 seconds. He's not going to let Josh Van get going. Van's a big momentum guy. Once the crowd starts roaring and once he lands a few punches, then he's landing better and better shots. Pantoja's not going for that. He's going to take you down. He doesn't give a fuck about the boos. He's heard plenty of boos in Vegas a bunch of times. His last 2 fights, he's heard boos from taking his opponent down. He's got a decent low kick, but again, we know what he's going to do. And Joshua Van's power isn't if he touches Pantoja, he's going to go down, because Pantoja's got chin of hell. There's nothing Joshua Van can do to me to think he's going to beat Pantoja. He's not flatlining Pantoja. He's not going to stagger Pantoja. He couldn't do that to Brandon Royval for the first 2 minutes, or for the first two rounds in 4 minutes and 50 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I just fucked up my speech there. But yeah, man, Pantoja's going to take Van down in the first round. Van might fight it off well. He's going to take him down in the second round. I think he'll get a rear naked choke in the second round. This is crazy. This is crazy as fuck. These odds are fucking ridiculous. Let's see what the odds are here. Yeah, minus 265. That's crazy. What is Pantoja by submission? He's plus odds for submission. Yeah, that's nuts. How is he plus odds for? I don't get the odds. I don't understand the odds. There's no rhyme or reason for you to pick Joshua Van here. He doesn't have the power. He doesn't have any physical attributes over Pantoja. He hasn't shown you that he can just shuck people off, especially somebody as good as Pantoja, who will literally get a fucking body lock or have his hands wrapped around your hips and do lateral drops and sink in the hooks that way. Pantoja is fucking amazing. He's a treat to watch if you actually enjoy mixed martial arts. If you're a tier above a casual, where you still know that some grappling is stupid, like Islam's versus JDM and Hamzat versus DDP, but you're also above people who just don't like grappling at all, and you can appreciate Pantoja's suffocating, his skill and the way he grapples people. You love Pantoja. Pantoja's a treat to watch. I think he'll sub Joshua Van in the second round. I wouldn't be upset at all if Josh Van won this fight. He's one of my favorite fighters, but I got to be honest. Gotta be honest. Whose cardio do I trust more? Alejandro Pantoja. Who do I trust more to? Who do I think has the better fight IQ? Alejandro Pantoja. Who do I think has more power? Alejandro Pantoja. Who's the better grappler? Pantoja's a top 10 grappler in the sport's history. Who's got the better chin? Pantoja's got one of the best chins in the history of the sport, especially the history of flyweight. Nothing's telling me Pantoja's going to lose this fight. He's going to reign over this division until he decides he doesn't want to anymore. Moving on, though, to the main event rematch in the making. Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan. Petr Yan 2. We love Petr Yan, don't we? We all love Petr Yan. We all love Petr Yan. If you don't love Petr Yan, you're a weirdo. But he's going to lose to Merab. Petr Yan was Merab's easiest fight of his career. In the UFC, like, you can go through each one of Merab's wins, although Yan, Cejudo, O'Malley, no fight was easier. Maybe O'Malley too, but still no. No fight was easier for Merab than Petr Yan. He completely destroyed him. He shot a record-setting 50 takedowns or whatever. You get the whole story. Merab's going to take Petr Yan down and win. Instead of 50-45 this time, he's going to win 49-46. Petr Yan, he's not as dangerous as he used to be. He's really technical. He's still a great boxer, one of the best. He can do a lot of things dynamic. He's pretty dynamic. He can be dynamic. But in his recent wins, Petr Yan's been able to take his opponent down or been able to clinch his opponent and have the clear advantage against his opponent. He will not be able to do that in his last three, against Song Yadong, against, who was after that? Figgy, and against Marcus McGee. He was able to clinch them up. He was able to take them down and be superior in that aspect. That's what really separated him against Figgy for sure. He can't do that against Merab. I don't have to say why he can't do that. We know he can't. Merab's going to take him down over and over and over and over and over again. He's not going to get tired. Petr Yan has no power in his hands. He really never did have crazy power, but he doesn't have power in his hands anymore for sure. For me to be like, oh, he's going to knock Merab out, KO him out cold. You have to be able to KO Merab out cold, or you got to be able to do what Umar did, but for 5 rounds. You're not beating Merab right now. No one is in the bantamweight division. Unless Pantoja moves up, then they can have a close competitive fight. I still would edge Merab. There's nothing for me to talk about with Merab. That's the annoying part. They're not annoying, but that's just the thing with Merab. Like, there's no analysis that I can give you outside of he's got one of the craziest chins in the sport. He's probably the toughest guy in the sport, has the most heart. And he's got the craziest cardio the sport has ever seen. So he's going to go out there. He's going to be all jittery out there while Petr Yan's all coiled up and making sure that his hips are under him, and he's trying to land big shots, and he's trying to load up good shots, and Merab's going to take him down. Yan's going to get up. He's going to get taken down. Yan's going to get up. He's going to get taken down. Now Merab's getting more confident in his ability on the feet. Merab really doesn't like Petr Yan. I don't know if that still is the same thing today. I know he said he was going to off himself if he lost to him the first time. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who Merab fights. This is going to be the analysis every time. It's not, he can fight someone 6 foot, and the analysis is going to be Merab's going to get his hands on him if he can't put his lights out with one shot. Merab's going to take Petr Yan down again and again and again and again and again and win a 49-46 decision. And this is going to be the last pay-per-view of the ESPN era, of the pay-per-view model era. And yeah, if you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We almost at 100 subscribers. I'm at 80, I think, or something like that. Appreciate everybody that staying tuned. Wow, that's wrong. Appreciate everybody for... Damn, I'm fucking up. Appreciate y'all for watching. More videos coming soon. Probably going to drop one tomorrow. And y'all have a good night.